Players are coming out, just about to get underway at St Mary's Stadium. It's today's Premier League commentary on 5 Live. Southampton, Manchester United. Here are Mike Ingham, Graham Taylor and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Russell. The two sets of players have just made their way out of the tunnel under grey skies on the south coast here. They swap handshakes either side of the halfway line, and those 22 players and whoever comes off the bench today are about to take part in an historic occasion, because in case you hadn't read this week, this is Sir Alex Ferguson's 1000th league game in charge of Manchester United. 26 long years ago, he took a team to the Manor Ground, which lost 2-0 to Oxford United. 999 games later, here he is, having turned Manchester United into one of the biggest, most successful clubs in the world. 12 Premier League titles, 7 runner-up finishes, 2 Champions League finals won, 2 lost in recent years against the brilliant Barcelona, a European Cup Winners' Cup for good measure, 5 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, and Graham Taylor. They've played some pretty nifty football along the way, haven't they?
Yeah, sack him.
Well, that's what some wanted to do.
I was just going to come in because I was a manager at the time when Alex came in, and in fact those first 2 or 3 years, you know, were difficult. Not what he got used to, but what he's done to I mean, just listening to those figures that you just put out there, it is fantastic. And anybody in any respect wants to say anything about Alex Ferguson, just look at those figures.
Back here shortly, Southampton, Manchester United just about to get underway, but let's join Simon Brotherton in the Velodrome, another gold medal race in the Paralympics. It's the mixed team sprint, Simon.
And it's the very last race on the track here in the Velodrome, and it's Great Britain against China. Great Britain set a new world record in qualifying this morning, then China went out and beat it, and the two teams in qualifying separated by 4 thousandths of a second. Britain start on one side of the track, China on the other. 3 riders in each team. All 3 riders do lap 1. 2 riders do lap 2, and then it's 1 against 1 for the final lap. Each rider designated to lead for one of the laps. Darren Kenny will lead off for Great Britain. Rick Wadden will do the second lap, and John Allen Butterworth will complete the ride. It's a hard one to call, isn't it, Mark Bristow?
It is. In qualifying this morning, the British team do not start quite as fast as the Chinese, and they were about 3/4 of a second down with the final lap to go when John Butterworth takes over. As you can hear the roar here as they've just put the British team on the start line and shown them on the TV. A packed house, Union Jacks everywhere. They've had a great afternoon of racing with gold medals, gold and silvers and bronzes everywhere, but we've now got the Chinese are just getting the last rider into the starting gate.
Well, I wonder whether this is a little bit of gamesmanship, perhaps, because the British riders have already been sitting waiting to start for a little while, and the last of the Chinese team now deciding to get up from a sitting position on the boards and onto the bike. So the British team will be forced to sit there for a minute or two before this race takes place. Well, as if we need that dramatic music in the background. It's a very, very tense and yet at the same time excited atmosphere. It's packed in the Velodrome for this final race. Great Britain against China. It's the mixed team sprint final. The final little adjustments are being made to Chinese man one's toe straps to make sure that his feet are securely fastened, and the coach is taking his time. Great Britain are ready to go, and the crowd, who are already quiet, are just being given the added incentive now to make sure that silence ensues in the final few seconds before this last race at the Velodrome in the paracycling. Will it be gold? Will it be silver for Great Britain? We will find out in less than a minute from now. It's Darren Kenny, Rick Wadden and John Allen Butterworth going for Great Britain, and they're underway, and Darren Kenny gets out of the gate there. Just wonder whether there was a slight wheel slip, but Darren Kenny powering out of the saddle, away to our left. Great Britain finishing in the back straight as we look. They come past us now, around the banking, away to our right on this first lap. We're expecting China might be ahead at this particular moment, and indeed they are, by just over 1/10 of a second. Lap 2 now. Rick Wadden riding on the front for Great Britain. Rick Wadden racing along the inside of the track. He's completed half of his lap. Let's see whether they're ahead or behind as he comes across the line now. And Great Britain have got it all to do. 3/4 of a
second to gain for John Allen Butterworth. He's going to have to come up with something really special now if silver is going to turn to gold for Great Britain. Half a lap to go, less than that now, up towards the line. John Allen Butterworth, oh, China have got it, 49.454. It's a new world record time, and Great Britain have just been edged out by a fraction of a second. The difference is 65,000th of a second, 0.065. So close to a golden finale on the track for Great Britain, but they have been beaten by arguably less than the blinking of an eye. It is gold to China and it's silver to Great Britain.
Absolutely awesome ride. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much, chaps. Desperately trying to get back in there. We're underway at the St Mary's Stadium. What a noise they get in that velodrome every single time. Great Britain winning the silver medal in the mixed team sprint. 2 minutes gone here. Southampton 0, United 0. Van Persie's free kick into the box is blocked. Raphael's shot is deflected. Comes back out to Valencia. Takes a touch. He's got a swarm of red Southampton shirts around him. Really scrappy in there. Eventually Southampton get the ball away to the halfway line, and Rio Ferdinand back to add a bit of solidity to Manchester United. Wins a header and gets them going forward again. But Danny Welbeck's pass is in behind Kagawa, and Southampton get a chance just to relieve a little bit of early pressure, because while we were away at the velodrome in the first couple of minutes of this game, Manchester United, playing in the white shirts, black shorts and white socks, have had pretty much all the possession, and Southampton, without actually having to defend a shot on their goal, will want to get their foot on their ball, but they've lost it early on here. But Carrick's been tackled well by Schneiderlin. Big solid figure of Ricky Lambert picks it up for Southampton. Out wide to Lallana on the left-hand side. 2, 3, 4 step overs. Raphael's seen all that before from a chap called Ronaldo in training. Lallana slides back in on him, and the throw-in goes Manchester United's way. 3.5 minutes gone. Southampton 0, Manchester United 0, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty open, entertaining game, and that's pretty much actually what we probably expected coming into it, Graham Taylor.
Well, let's hope so. And usually when Manchester United are concerned, we do get that type of flowing football. It's been all Manchester United since kick-off.
Give you the team news in a second, just in case you haven't heard it. United building again down the left-hand side. Welbeck to Kagawa to Carrick, who just very calmly puts his foot on the ball, sweeps the pass to Raphael on the right-hand side. Good noise from the home fans. Southampton looking for their first point of the season here, having lost their first 2 games. Last week here against Wigan, played very well at Manchester City on the opening weekend, eventually beaten 3-2. Lovely back heel from Van Persie, trying to find Kagawa, and he couldn't quite get it out from under his feet to get the left foot shot away. What a cheeky, impudent little touch from Robin Van Persie.
Yeah, we've seen those on a lot of occasions, and it's doing it for Manchester United now. I mean, the link up with Kagawa is very, very important, and it was almost on there.
3 changes for Manchester United then this afternoon from the 3-2 win against Fulham. The second goal they conceded in that game was due to a mix-up between David De Gea and Nemanja Vidic. De Gea is on the bench, Lindegaard comes in. Rio Ferdinand, as I said, returns to partner Nemanja Vidic. Anderson drops out. Michael Carrick has moved forward into the midfield, and Danny Welbeck starts today in place of Ashley Young. And we're not entirely sure where Danny Welbeck is going to station himself. Started wide left, has drifted around a little bit. It looks like Kagawa off Van Persie with Valencia right and Welbeck on the left-hand side. Lambert wins a header for Southampton, picked up by Cleverley. We welcome listeners joining us from the BBC World Service underneath grey skies, but a mild afternoon on the south coast at the St Mary's Stadium. Arsenal already winners in the Barclays Premier League earlier on today, winning 2-0 at Liverpool to move themselves up to 7th place in the table. Unbeaten start to the season, a win and 2 draws without conceding a goal. And Manchester United playing only their 3rd game of this season, having lost the first at Everton. Lovely turn from Van Persie again, just to get the ball back to Cleverley, and then won that second, not entirely convincingly, against Fulham at home. Van Persie looking for the scoop pass over the top, gets the volley away and drags it wide and behind for a goal kick. 6 minutes played, Southampton 0, Manchester United 0. Southampton have got some defending to do this afternoon, Graham.
Well, yeah, they certainly have, because that's all they've been doing since the game started. Van Persie there, you know, he took it on his chest first of all and then tried to volley. It was a first-class effort, really, in what he had to do. But also Welbeck keeps coming in from that left flank. He's not staying out wide, and Southampton will have to watch his movement.
Lindegaard in goal then for United. Back four of Raphael. All clearance from Lindegaard is scuffed up the middle of the pitch. It's worked out okay. Turned into a decent pass for Cleverley. Raphael, Ferdinand, Vidic and Evra is the back four. Welbeck trying to get onto the pass from Kagawa is intercepted. Carrick and Cleverley in central midfield. Welbeck wide left, Valencia wide right, Kagawa in behind Robin van Persie. And two changes for Southampton this afternoon after their 2-0 defeat here against Wigan last week. James Ward-Prowse, the 17-year-old playing in central midfield, comes in, as does Jason Puncheon, and out go the Brazilian Gulli and Jay Rodriguez, another big money summer signing from Burnley. But as Nigel Adkins showed on the very first day of the season, not afraid to drop the big players. Ricky Lambert didn't start at Manchester City, came on and scored his goal. Still all Manchester United at the moment. Raphael passes the ball up the right-hand touchline. He did well to keep it in, and Valencia has kept possession for United. Carrick, again in that really smooth, upright, elegant style of his, to Van Persie, looking for the flick pass over the top to Welbeck. Just intercepted by Jose Font at the back for Southampton. Danny Fox is under pressure, and he almost gave the ball away to Welbeck, who was sniffing around. And Southampton here struggling to clear their lines. Raphael gets the challenge in. The ball goes out for a throw. Kelvin Davis in goal. Back four of Nathaniel Klein, Jos Højveldt, Jose Font and Danny Fox. Morgan Schneiderlin and Stephen Davis and James Ward-Prowse effectively a midfield three. Adam Lallana, who was such an impressive performer for Southampton in the Championship last season, starts wide left. Jason Puncheon wide right, and Ricky Lambert, who has scored hatfuls of goals in the last 4 seasons, plays through the middle. Lindegaard out quickly, clears for Manchester United. 8.5 minutes played, and it's 0-0. And you can tell, Graham Taylor, by the atmosphere, just how pleased, although Southampton don't have a point, they are to have teams like Manchester United back in town, because this place is rocking.
Oh, certainly. I mean, after having a really rocky spell and going down the leads.
Ferdinand just under a little bit of pressure, sorry to butt in there, but Lambert was causing him a few problems. He did well, Ferdinand, and dealt with it. Nigel
Adkins' successive promotions has brought them back in, and the supporters, you know, really want this. And it's you can see, you can hear rather, and feel how much they are behind, and yet they've hardly had a kick of the ball, have they? You know, it's been all Manchester United.
Yeah, so exactly. So imagine what it's going to be like when Southampton start stringing some football together. Liverpool 0, Arsenal 2. Full-time score earlier on. Newcastle Aston Villa kicked off at 4 o'clock like this one. We'll keep you updated with that. England, of course, in a run chase in the 4th one-day international at Lords. Pat Murphy will keep us up to date with that against South Africa, who totaled 220 for 8. The series currently stands at 1 apiece, with that match and 1 more to play, and plenty more Paralympics updates and action on 5 Live throughout the afternoon and evening. 7 till 10 tonight will be full Paralympics coverage. We've got US Open tennis, we've got 6:06 from 6 o'clock, so basically you've just got to stay tuned to BBC Radio 5 Live. Southampton launching their first attack of this first half. Klein down the right-hand side, trying to take it inside Evra, and just got the ball caught up a little bit, otherwise he might have had the beating of him. He's still got possession. Southampton are all in red with a thin white pinstripe in the kit as Puncheon floats across into the back post. Lambert often wins those headers. He does win that one, but it's safely into the arms, from Manchester United's point of view, of the Danish keeper Anders Lindegaard. And that's an interesting change straight away, Graham Turner, in terms of David De Gea on the bench and Anders Lindegaard in for Manchester United today.
Yeah, I think Sir Alex will be saying that nobody's my first choice keeper. I think you know, he has to make a decision, because there's been a lot of discussion about the goalkeeping position at Manchester United, and I think it will get sorted out one way or the other this season.
Interesting. Well, Lindegaard's in at the moment. He did get a run in the side last season from about January time, when David De Gea was taken out of the firing line. As Graham says, he came under some criticism. Lindegaard then got injured. De Gea came back in and kept his place. Puncheon's won the ball off Welbeck just inside the Southampton half. Cardiff 3, Wolves 1. Final score in the Championship this afternoon. Dundee 1 up at Hearts in the SPL. Motherwell leading Inverness by 2-1. Those games kicked off at 3 o'clock. 11 minutes gone in the first half. Floated cross from Danny Fox, travels a long way across the pitch, intercepted by Evra, who's on the move here down the left-hand side. Just keeps the ball in, does he? Yes, he does. Assistant referee waves play on, but Southampton have possession on the halfway line. And the ball is passed by 17-year-old James Ward-Prowse. So Sir Alex Ferguson was already 10 years into his Manchester United reign when James Ward-Prowse was born, who's playing against a Ferguson team this afternoon. Puncheon slides in on Welbeck, fouls him, and the free kick goes Southampton's way. By the way, Graham, I checked out what you were doing in November 1986 when Sir Alex Ferguson took charge at Oxford United. Watford beat Charlton 4-1. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
And I noticed you beat Oxford United home and away that season.
Yeah, but in the following 20 years, what you know, it's I've had my ups and downs with Sir Alex, certainly when I was the England manager. But I would never go even anywhere near criticising this manager for his achievements, and I think they're absolutely superb. I don't think they'll be beaten. Well, it'll take something extra special to beat them.
Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson's team, doing some defending at the moment, and Carrick's back there, but he can't prevent the ball spinning off his shin behind for a corner. Just in case you weren't tuned into the start of the commentary, the reason we're mentioning that, it is Sir Alex Ferguson's 1,000th league game in charge of United. And by the way, Graham Taylor, of course, is extremely well qualified to talk about that sort of thing, having taken charge of something like 1,300 games himself. Corner for Southampton. Low one. Back towards the penalty spot. Lallana hits the shot just wide, and that was a Manchester United corner. That takes me back to sort of Teddy Sheringham, Paul Scholes era that was done against Manchester United this afternoon.
Certainly. When it was worked out, the step over as it went through was obviously off the training ground, and at one stage I thought he was going to have a clear hit of the ball.
Southampton 0, Manchester United 0. Let's get our first update on Newcastle Villa in the first half. Alistair Yeomans.
16 minutes gone, it's 0-0, fast and furious, no clear chances so far. Contrast on the touchline, Alan Pardew, the Newcastle manager, sharp, razor sharp in his dark suit. Paul Lambert in his tracksuit and his glasses bobbing around. Reminds me of a former Aston Villa manager. 0-0.
Graham Taylor, any response? Or shall we continue? Or are we talking Martin O'Neill, possibly?
Could be, couldn't he?
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll find out.
You never know with Alistair, do you?
He snuck one in there. We'll be back to Alistair. Newcastle 0, Villa 0, kicked off at 4 o'clock like this one. Southampton coming into this game in the first half just a little bit more. As I say that, Lallana loses the ball about 30 yards from the United goal. Valencia is deep and he has clear ground to run into here. Makes 20 yards. Kagawa slips. The pass was intended for him. It was actually behind him, which is why he slipped. And Southampton have it again. And now this could be dangerous because Lallana picks it up on the halfway line, runs about 30 yards, might fancy the long range shot. He's got no support on the right-hand side. Ward-Prowse is behind him. Side foots one to Schneiderlin with the left foot, and he smashes it high and wide into the Southampton fans behind Lindegaard's goal.
I don't think Schneiderlin there looked confident. You know, it was almost like I'm going to have to shoot. There was a reluctance on his part. Never got hold of it at all. I don't think he felt he was settled, but somehow he felt he had to shoot.
In his 5th season with Southampton, young Frenchman, 22 years old, 3 goals in 153 appearances, which might tell you something there, Graham.
Well, I think we can see he didn't want to shoot because he probably thought, well, I'm not going to score.
Sloppy from Manchester United. They've given the ball back to Southampton straight from the goal kick. Here's the 17-year-old Ward-Prowse. Van Persie came in strongly on him. Ward-Prowse held his ground. Nathaniel Klein has eventually lost the ball to Cleverley here. Really well read by Schneiderlin. Driving forward for Southampton. Southampton 0, United 0. Can Southampton take the lead as Puncheon floats across to Lambert? Heads it in for Southampton. They're ahead against Manchester United. And of course it is. It's Ricky Lambert popping up at the back post. He loves crosses like that to attack. He nods it past Lindegaard, and the St Mary's Stadium goes absolutely bonkers. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0.
Typical goal scorer's goal, trapping the back post. He came in for the cross. Out jumped Raphael very easily, I thought, and put the ball into the net. All against, one could say, the run of the play, but do these Southampton supporters care? Of course not. 1-0 to Southampton.
The amount of times last season, Graham, I came to this ground and Southampton away and watched floated crosses to the back post that Lambert either nodded back to the on-rushing whoever, Lallana, or he nodded in like that. You just lose count.
It's where a tremendous amount of goals are scored from. And so, you know, making sure, it's a well-known phrase in football, trap the back post, because you will get your chances. And Lambert does it very well. He did it extremely well there.
31 goals for Southampton last season, scored 4 hat-tricks in the Championship, 21 the season before that, 36 the season before that, and 29 for Bristol Rovers the season before that. And every time he steps up a level, he keeps on scoring. He's done it again. Southampton lead Manchester United by 1-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Newcastle 0, Villa 0, Arsenal 1-2-0 at Liverpool. Danny Welbeck working hard for United. Gets the ball back to Patrice Evra, has to scurry back into his own half, and then just casually flicks the ball up the left-hand side to Welbeck. In the bright green boots, Carrick with a short pass to Kagawa. Manchester United won't panic, but a little bit to prove early on this season. Beaten at Everton, not entirely convincing against Fulham, behind here against Southampton, and it looks like they can be got at, certainly defensively.
Well, we all know that Manchester United always have the second half of the season better than their first. But I think the thing is changing now, in as much that with Manchester City there, you know, Arsenal, I think, will come back. I really do think that they're going to be challenging as well. I think Manchester United have got to be very steady, because this, if they have a poor first half of the season, I'm not so certain they can catch it up in the second half.
Good tackle by Schneiderlin on Kagawa, and then Højbjerg. And Raphael Welbeck's trying to bundle his way into the penalty area, takes a painful blow there. He just ran into a Southampton defender, and listen to the roars here as Southampton break clear down the left-hand side with Stephen Davis. He decided to turn and play the ball back towards the halfway line. Southampton lead Manchester United by 1-0. Sitting in the bottom 3, of course, very early days, but without a point, Southampton, what a way to start it would be if you could beat Manchester United. Long way to go, but they lead by 1-0, and they're playing some nice football here. Davis and Punch in exchange, 2 little 1-2s, and it gets a massive ripple of applause all round the stadium as Southampton now switch the play from left to right. And Ward-Prowse, the 17-year-old, looks so assured, just looking for possession all the time.
He looks very good. His movement, his desire to want the ball and then release it early, I think that's a mark of today's football. It's 1-touch, 2-touch play, and be accurate with his passing. He certainly has impressed.
Almost 20 minutes gone. Southampton leading Manchester United by 1-0, and here's one for Lambert to chase. It's going to bounce awkwardly. Vidic gets there though on the full, nods it back to Lindegaard. Goal in the game between Newcastle and Aston Villa. Alistair Yeomans.
And perhaps another surprise. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. Villa have been bright for the last 5 minutes. Barry Bannon getting to the byline on the left-hand side. Fine cross and a header in by centre-half Kieran Clark. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1.
And in the SPL, last we heard was Hearts 0, Dundee 1. Alison Walker.
And it's still Hearts 0, Dundee 1, and Hearts hoping that return signing Ryan Stevenson will make the difference from the restart here, but so far he hasn't managed to do that. Novakovas had a low drive and an easy save for Douglas again. He's been in great form this game. We'll have to get past him if they're going to score in this one. It's Hearts 0, Dundee 1.
Manchester United have themselves a corner at the St Mary's Stadium, trailing Southampton by 1-0. Ricky Lambert with his second of the season. Not a bad way to start. Scored against Manchester City on the opening day, has now scored against Manchester United. United in the white shirts, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. Cleverly swings the corner in. It goes a long way. It's headed away by Southampton, out for a throw-in on the far side. We'll be with Dave Woods shortly. who's watching some Super League action for us this afternoon. He's had a try in the game between Hull KR and Wigan Warriors. Let's just see what Manchester United can do with this attack first. Valencia's being forced backwards. Carrick's looking for the 1-2 with Kagawa. Kagawa back to Ferdinand. Ferdinand to Kagawa again, who has to turn and come to Vidic in the centre circle. And United now going to try another little angle of attack here. Vidic on a slight dribble. Lay off to Kagawa. Back to Carrick. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0. Vidic now swings it out to the left-hand side. Evra looks up, thinks about an early cross. Instead, dribbles in field. Ball drops outside the edge of the Southampton penalty area and is volleyed high away in the air, and Carrick's pass goes a long way back. So time to bring in Dave Woods. Dave, what news?
Hull Kingston Rovers 32, Wigan 22. Hull KR's nerves looked settled when Lincoln Withers scored just after the break, but again, 2 quick-fire tries for Wigan. Hawk and Richards has put life back in this game. 20 minutes to go. Hull Kingston Rovers 32, Wigan 22.
Manchester United still have the ball here, still trailing by the goal to nil. Cleverly back to Carrick. Carrick with a little chip pass up to Welbeck, who controls and gets it back to Carrick. And Southampton are managing to hold United at arm's length at the moment. Cleverly now wide to Evra. Evra floats the cross in, one for Van Persie to attack. Kelvin Davis will claim it easily to Lords. Pat Murphy watching the 4th one-day international.
Bell is on 49, Trott 39. Trott's batting with an injured left hand, having been hit by Steyn. A couple of painkillers for him. But at 109 for 1, they need 112 in 25 overs with 9 wickets in hand.
And Jenson Button won the Belgian Grand Prix this afternoon. Another bit of sporting news for you. Sebastian Vettel in second. Fernando Alonso crashed out, as did Lewis Hamilton in a big crash early on. Alonso still leads the Drivers' Championship. Southampton lead Manchester United here by a goal to nil, and the ball breaks to Valencia on the right-hand side. Van Persie's lurking at the back post, crossing towards him. Defender steps. Van Persie slams it in. His second goal for Manchester United. You cannot give him chances like that. Nathaniel Klein was unlucky he slipped, but Van Persie was so cool and so clinical, brought it down and slammed it in with his left foot. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1.
Before the cross came in, Van Persie drifted away. He came away from the player. Yes, he was unfortunate to slip, but he'd made his position. As soon as he chested it down on that left foot, you knew where it was going. It's 1-1. A typical Van Persie goal, a typical Van Persie finish.
And I've already said too much. We're past the midway point in the first half. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Here's Mike Ingham.
Well, a really exciting opening to the game described by Alistair Bruce Ball, as now Lambert, the Southampton goal scorer, turns and finds the captain Lallana on the edge of the area. His scuffed ball in is partially dealt with by Ferdinand, and then the clearance completed by Raphael. What a storming game we've got for you here under grey skies at St Mary's. Southampton scoring their first goal in the Premier League at St Mary's since they last played Manchester United here, when Nigel Quasi gave them the lead on the day they went down, but Manchester United came from behind to win 2-1. And I know because I was here. Graham, classic Van Persie equaliser.
It was, wasn't it? Just watching him, watch his movement, you know, if people see a rerun of it at all, but it's typical of him. He drags away from his defender, gets on beyond the far post, the cross comes in, goes in, chested it, left foot finish. We've seen it so often, but it really takes some doing.
Ward-Prowse, the youngster, as Lambert comes a little deeper and feeds the unmarked Lallana just inside the penalty area. Away partially by Carrick. Lambert! Oh! Well, that was probably a little bit further away than it actually looked from here, but it was exciting once more. Lambert's effort, I think Lindegaard at full stretch probably had it covered, but Southampton respond well here, 1-1.
Yeah, it's been a good reaction from Southampton. Certainly the early, 10 minutes of the game, they hardly got a kick of the ball. But more and more they've come into the game. Been very impressed with Ward-Prowse, the young boy. He's really committed into the game, but his passing and movement is very, very good.
You're listening to 5 Live and BBC World Service. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Long ball out of the Southampton defence, looking for Lallana over on the far side. Raphael wins it. The crowd thought that Lallana was fouled, but Mike Dean, the referee, waves play on, and Raphael's involved in the action once more on the halfway line. Southampton go piling in, and it's Schneiderlin, the man who really played the big part in the Southampton goal. Ball to Klein, near side. Down the line to Punchin, cleared by Evra. Fantastic action from both sides here. Robin van Persie now tight to the line, surrounded by red Southampton shirts, but he does well to find Welbeck. Welbeck tried to move the ball onto Cleverley. Southampton who playing an extra man in midfield. 4-4-2 last season, but they've got an extra man now in midfield against Manchester United. And United in white shirts have it now inside the centre circle. Manchester United began this game as if they wanted to finish it in the first 5 minutes. They were all over Southampton early on, but Southampton grew into it. Lambert headed the goal, and really it was all about Schneiderlin beating Kagawa, winning a very important challenge which started the move going, and he's not giving Kagawa an inch really in midfield. Van Persie almost straight offside. The ball comes to Valencia on the edge of the penalty area. Great ball to Welbeck. Welbeck can't control it first time. Then from the angle, Van Persie tries to put one in, but can't control it. It's gone into the crowd.
Sir Alex coming out onto the touchline there. I'm not too certain. Is he actually showing a little bit of anger at Van Persie for trying that shot?
He seems to be trying to organise the back four at the moment, talking to Vidic and Ferdinand. And Raphael, who was exposed really in terms of inches at the far post when Lambert climbed to score the Southampton opening goal. Manchester United yet to score the first goal in any of their Premier League games so far this season. Here's one of the new signings from Southampton, Klein. They're playing from left to right in this first half. It's 1-1 at St Mary's. So many times I remember seeing Southampton and Manchester United at the Dell, which was a real fortress for Southampton against United. Here now at St Mary's, perhaps less intimidating, but great noise from the crowd as Southampton launch the ball forward. Lambert stabs it down, and Carrick's waiting now to try and get Manchester United moving once more. Carrick finding Raphael, who's got good pace down the right. Lallana's trying to hold him up. Raphael with an excellent ball onto Valencia. There's danger here for Southampton. Valencia onto Welbeck. Welbeck fouled in the D on the edge of the penalty area. The weight of the pass wasn't quite right for Valencia. He had to wait for it to come onto him, but he's won a free kick in a very dangerous area. Although having said that, it might be a little bit Manchester United could have done with this being another 5 yards deeper maybe. Yeah,
it's the ability to get it up if they're going to go over or round the wall and then get it down in time. Have they got enough distance to do that? I will say this, that after the first 5 or 10 minutes we thought it was going to be one way, all Manchester United, but this game has turned into end-to-end, both teams looking to attack and be positive when in possession of the ball. It's a very good game.
Van Persie's going to smash this. I mean, you can see from here Van Persie's going to smack this one as hard as he can. There's a Southampton wall, of course, which Mike Dean is organising. It's 1-0 to Aston Villa at Newcastle. Here it's 1-1 in an excellent game between Southampton and Manchester United. So Van Persie having equalised here for Manchester United. Davis, the Southampton goalkeeper, waits away to our left. Here goes Van Persie. In the end, well, having said he was going to smash it, he tried to place it in the top corner with no power at all, and it was quite poor in the end.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Mike, isn't it? Everybody, and you weren't on your own, everybody was expecting to use that left foot, smash it in, as you were saying, and this time he tried something totally different. Didn't work for him, but I don't blame him for trying it, because everybody was expecting the same as you and I were.
I don't think Nigel Adkins is going to sit down at all today. He's down there in the technical area, standing and watching, as Ricky Lambert now was waiting for that to come to him, but Rio Ferdinand's headed it away from him, and now Kagawa just managed to get away from Schneiderlin and finds Valencia down the right-hand side. Valencia pulled it back towards Van Persie, away by Hooiveld, the two Dutchmen there, and now Steve Davis, and that's an excellent ball from him to find Klein, and here comes Southampton, 1-1 at St Mary's. Punchin's trying to stay on side. Klein now comes in field, but he's overdone it there really, ran into Carrick, and Manchester United regroup with Ferdinand and Vidic together at the back today, and now the ever-reliable Patrice Evra trying to hold off young Ward Prowse, the 17-year-old, and he did really well there, the teenager, because Evra didn't go much further, and it's back with the Southampton defence once more. 1-1 here, and Southampton have to wait for some of their recent signings to make an appearance, but they've actually invested more money than Liverpool during this summer. Not a lot of Premier League experience they bought, having said all that. Ramirez and Yoshida, two of the players I saw in the Olympics, were excellent in that tournament. And now Davis, the goalkeeper, the veteran, clears towards Lambert. Off the chest from Lambert. Vidic is there as well, but the ball will drop to Ward-Prowse, who's trying to make some space for himself in midfield. On to Punchin. Punchin's little reverse ball. Lovely running from Lallana. Across comes Raphael. Great spin from Lallana. Deep ball to the far post, but Lambert wasn't there. And it's cleared out of play far side by Vidic. Graham.
Yeah, some good and intelligent play there by Southampton. Lallana did very, very well, and it was unfortunate nobody was coming in at the back post when he attempted the chip, but it was good play.
Well, having lost here in their opening game to Wigan in the Premier League, that looked a little ominous, I think, that result for Southampton, but they're really fired up here today. They took the lead against Manchester United, if you're joining us in 5 Live and World Service, and we played 31 minutes of the first half. United back through Van Persie. Now it's Ward-Prowse in midfield. Ward-Prowse plays a nice 1-2 with Davis, and then in the end shovels a shot 2 or 3 yards wide of Lindegaard's post. Lindegaard today preferred to De Gea. I'm not sure whether that's maybe for the aerial stuff, anticipating a lot of high stuff towards Lambert. De Gea's great shot stopper, but he's sometimes a bit uncertain for the crosses, isn't he?
Yes, he certainly is, and I think, whilst I can understand that, I think the time has come for, is De Gea going to be that number one, bearing in mind that there are a few little mistakes even this season that you can look at and say, I expected better than that?
Well, one thing's for certain, they'll both get some action this season. If Manchester United will have a lot of games to play, they will hope, obviously, with European football as well. And here at St Mary's, it's Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. And the ball is with Schneiderlin, the Frenchman, who's just sitting in front of the back 4. Drifts one towards Lambert. Lambert's knocked down, and the run came in from Punchin. Lambert couldn't quite direct it onto him, though. And this marvellous game of really open football sees Carrick caught in possession. And now Lambert again for Southampton. Lambert onto the busy Lallana. Good possession here from Southampton. Evra does enough to get the ball away from Lallana, but it'll break once more to the home side. Schneiderlin again prompting the play from midfield. Klein up against Danny Welbeck. Welbeck does well. Welbeck denies Klein the space. Out comes Nigel Atkins again. And it's going to be a throw into Southampton. Let's go back to Alistair Yeomans again at Newcastle. Alistair.
Yes, 35 minutes gone, Mike. It's still Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. That goal after 22 minutes from Kieran Clark. Newcastle have come close to equalising, though. Guzan thwarting Cisse with his legs, and then Anita firing just inches wide. So 1-0 to Villa in beautiful warm sunshine at St James's Park.
Lucky man, it's not like that here. It's been drizzly and cloudy. There's a Southampton injury at the moment. And well, they can put the ball out of play now if they want to, but they haven't. The injury was to Schneiderlin, who's back on his feet again. Earlier today, Arsenal winning 2-0 at Liverpool. And here comes Southampton, and the shot driven in with no power from Lallana. And also, it's Hearts 0, Dundee 1 in Scotland in the Premier League, in a game which would have seen Hearts go top if they won the match, but they're trailing 1-0 at the moment to Dundee. Cardiff beat Wolves 3-1 in the Championship. Podolski and Cazorla, 2 of the summer signings, scored the goals for Arsenal, who've yet to concede. Of course, Arsenal this season defensively being organised by the former centre-back Steve Bold. Well, Graham, although United got back into the game, this is a better spell from Southampton again.
Definitely. They have to be credited, for coming back from the opening start where they were completely outplayed. But now they've really turned it into a good and exciting game, one that's very good to watch because both sides are moving the ball about well, looking to get forward whenever they can.
And here comes Cleverley now in the centre of Manchester United's midfield. Ball forward, and that's just away at the back by Font, the defender, but Manchester United still looking dangerous. Hoyvelt gets his foot in, and now Fox, the Scottish international, to clear the left back. Of course, Nigel Atkins said that the Wigan game here taught him and reminded him once more, as a foul by Vidic on Lambert, that the biggest difference between playing in the Championship and in League One and here in the Premier League is you just lose your concentration for 1 second. The margin is so cruel in the Premier League, and the opposition will take advantage. So as much as he's enjoying seeing his team going forward here and trying to get back into the game again, he knows that Manchester United will have to be watched 100% here at all times. Now it's a free kick to Southampton inside the centre circle. It's 1-1, and Lallana, the captain, is pointing. Lambert has his arm raised. Font has gone forward. The kick is towards Lambert. Ferdinand's header out of the penalty area, but still Southampton possession. Klein, 30 yards away from Lindegaard's goal, doesn't shoot, keeps it short down this near side. Southampton moving it around, and now just inside the United half, the ball is given by Schneiderlin to Højveldt, and now Fox passing and moving nicely, and then Schneiderlin's ball in towards Lambert. Lambert knocks it down for Lallana, who's looking really impressive. Now Klein cushions the ball on the chest. Southampton just keeping patient here, playing sideways football. Schneiderlin once more, little run into the penalty area, and it was Font, the centre-back, who'd stayed forward, trying to get on the end of it. Now United will try and counter-attack. Font has to get back in defence, and Valencia now sets off down that far side of the field for Manchester United, looking for Van Persie, but cleared by Lallana. And as the game opens up once more, Davis threads one down the centre of United's defence. Good covering from Evra, and it really is helter-skelter stuff here. Valencia to Cleverley, and now Raphael over on the far side. 36 minutes gone in the first half, one each. Kagawa, referees played an advantage. That was a foul on him. Mike Dean's played an advantage. Will United get one? Cleverley, and this time he's brought down from behind by Lallana, I think it was. Mike Dean's given the free kick to Manchester United. Graham Taylor.
Once again, Mike, some good play, good one-touch, two-touch football. And what I think has helped make the game, a lot of the players are looking for the forward pass, either as their first touch or second touch, as opposed to just square or backwards. On a lot of occasions, you know, they're looking to play a forward pass into their colleague and keep the ball moving.
Mike Dean's refereeing well. He had a little word there with Lallana, but he's obviously enjoying it and realising it's good entertainment. There's no yellow card, but there will be next time for Lallana. I think that was probably the message. It's a free kick, throw-in, to Manchester United near side. It's 1-1 at St Mary's, 1-0 to Aston Villa, remember, at Newcastle. And now Evra with a throw-in onto Welbeck. These Southampton defenders have to be very careful, but now it's Ward-Prowse, and he just takes a little too long to get moving there, and Welbeck, Sir Alex Ferguson, will appreciate that, comes back to take the ball away from him, and United now move it to the far side once more. Carrick linking the play on the halfway line. Cleverley's pointing. Carrick, though, sets it up for the captain, Vidic, who's on the halfway line. Vidic, the obvious pass was Evra, and it is near side, but Punchin almost took it away from him. Welbeck helps him out, and Manchester United now once more with Carrick. Carrick's ball given away, very un-Carrick like that. Southampton clear, but under a bit of pressure, give it straight back to Manchester United. Played with more pace this time by Carrick. For Valencia down there, Raphael's gone forward, I notice. Valencia rides the first challenge from Lallana. Players in the penalty area waiting for it, but it doesn't come in. It's going to be a Manchester United throw-in. It's 1-1, and we've got 6 minutes to go in the first half. Throw into United. Carrick to Cleverley. Cleverley, Van Persie coming deep, but United build down the right-hand side. Raphael's in the penalty area with Welbeck. Carrick now to Van Persie, who's 30 yards away from the Southampton goal. A little bit slow, this movement from Manchester United. All the Southampton players, apart from Lambert, are back behind the ball. Carrick looking for the best pass. It's Vidic, and that was a very heavy ball from Vidic, and United lucky to keep it. Carrick once more. Again, Raphael lurking in the area. Cross comes in, Davis doesn't come for it. Evra's header down, and Davis scrambles it away. It's not a corner kick yet, as Evra went in for the return, and it's a goal kick. Well, that was interesting. The most interesting thing I found about that, Graham, was that the players going forward looking to try and get on the end of things were the fullbacks, Evra and Raphael. Definitely.
And I thought Evra might have chosen to head the ball back across to the far post. He looked to get it into the near post, wasn't successful, but it was easier for the keeper to deal with. So I think that far post header could have brought a second goal for Manchester United.
Legendary Terry Payne is here, by the way, today. He's on a visit from South Africa, taking in a couple of Southampton matches. World Cup player, of course, in 1966. He was in the Southampton team which won 4-1 at Old Trafford in 1969 when Best, Law and Charlton all played, and Ron Davis, the centre forward, scored all four. Payne and Sydenham the wingers. And now It's Southampton, and Lambert's ball forward. Lambert's ball to Schneiderlin. Lallana on the edge of the penalty area. I thought he threw himself down there. So did the referee. Says, get up. And Manchester United now build. And Graham Taylor, by the way, was telling me before the game that as a young thrusting left back, he took care of Mr. Terry Payne one day.
Well, I think we lost 6-0 or 6-1 down here on a Saturday, and I was left back Grimsby Town, and Terry was outside right. There was an international game on the Wednesday, and you didn't put the games off then for international games. And I happened to tattle Terry very, very fairly, but he went to the ground, and the referee came up to me, awarded a free kick to me. He said, hey, don't you know he's got a game on Wednesday for England? You just take it steady.
Well, how times change. We'll go to Dave Woods in a moment for the Rugby League. We'll just watch Southampton building. I'm not sure Mike Dean's going to try and protect Tom Cleverley, for example, here today. Of course, he's in the England squad for the game coming up. And let's go to Dave Woods at the Rugby League. Dave.
Hey, what a game. Hull Kingston Rovers 36, Wigan 36. Pat Richards has just streaked down the touchline for Wigan to score an equalising try. They were 26-0 down at one stage, but now he has a conversion to possibly win the game, and that of course would secure the league leaders shield for Wigan here today. 36-36, a conversion to come, and 4 minutes left to play.
Thank you, Dave. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1 to Newcastle in the moment. Cleverly now on to Kagawa, who's managed to slip Schneiderlin's attention. Valencia available along the outside. Kagawa's ball to the left, though. It's an awkward one for Van Persie to control, and Klein will clear. Back to Alistair Yeomans at Newcastle.
Still 1-0 to Aston Villa. Final minutes of normal time in the first half. We will have quite a bit of stoppage time, Mike. Newcastle forced into a replacement. Danny Simpson, the right back, has gone off with a hamstring injury. Vernon Anita's had to go there, and young Gail Biggie Romana, formerly of Coventry, has come on in midfield.
Thank you very much. This first half has vanished. It's 1-1 at St Mary's, and now Carrick in the centre circle, but Cleverly. Let's go back to Dave Woods to find out what happened in the Rugby League, Dave.
Well, if Pat Richards kicks this goal, Wigan will almost certainly secure the league leaders' shield in what has been an extraordinary game. They were 26-0 down after 30 minutes. They've kept battling back into it. Hull Kingston Rovers always kept their noses ahead, but we've seen 3 tries in the last 8 minutes for Wigan to pull them back level. We know that Warrington have beaten Huddersfield 54-6, so Wigan have to win here today to confirm the league leaders' shield. Here comes Richards with a kick now. The whistles from the Hull KR fans, who cannot imagine that this game has slipped from their grasp. Richards steps up right-footed. He's not been on his best form today, but that's good enough. The flags are up. Richards kicks it. It's Hull KR 36, Wigan 38, with less than 3 minutes to play.
Great stuff. Wigan's football team, of course, won here last weekend, 2-0. I'm told the South African cricketers were here as well, watching that. Of course, we'll be going back to Pat Murphy shortly for the one-day international at Lords, where there's a run chase from England. Trying to go in front in the series, 2-1, and the Carrick now for Manchester United. 1-1 as we approach half-time. There won't be a great deal of time to be added on here. This game has flowed, and it's Cleverly of Manchester United now. In come the challenges from Southampton, and they're good enough. And now they clear, and they don't clear well enough. They couldn't get it around Kagawa, and the ball drops kindly to Raphael down Manchester United's right-hand side. And Manchester United, who began this game at a cracking pace and then fell behind, equalising through Van Persie. The two main front runners have scored here. Lambert for Southampton, Van Persie for Manchester United. Slow build up from United now. Carrick again is trying to knit it all together. He'll have to go back though to Ferdinand, and Ferdinand will go even further back to goalkeeper Lindegaard. Lindegaard's clearance hoisted towards Evra down this near side. Evra heads it on, and it'll be cleared at the back by Font. Vidic leans over Puncheon. Referee was happy with the challenge, but he wasn't happy with Evra's on Klein, and it's going to be a free kick, and Klein gets an instruction from... No, has the free kick? No, it hasn't been given. It's a throw. Well, Nigel Atkins is inches away from Klein, his fullback. Sign from Crystal Palace, and now Klein's throw-in. A ball in field from Schneiderlin. Wasted pass from Southampton. 1 minute of added time, and we're just into it now. Carrick down the centre, over the defenders, looking for Van Persie. Couldn't control it though. Hoyfeld had lost it. Van Persie though couldn't bring it down, and that's gone wide, and it's going to be a Southampton goal kick.
Well, that surprised me. I expected him to actually attempt to volley it straight away. He tried to bring it down and failed, which is most unusual when you see Van Persie in that position. Tremendous pass by Carrick. 20-yard forward pass picked Van Persie out very, very well.
We talked a lot about Kagawa before the game. I think Southampton have done their homework here really well. Schneiderlin's been sitting on him, denying him really the space in behind Robin Van Persie. So that side of the game has worked pretty well so far for Southampton. But the main concern still for the team and the manager and the fans in the second half will be, can they just keep all of the concentration together against some very gifted forwards here? Southampton 1, Manchester United 1, and that's half-time at the end of a really enjoyable 45 minutes, Graham.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, Mike. You're quite right in what you say. It was enjoyable because we saw positiveness coming from both sides. Yes, possession is important. Keeping the ball sometimes in your own half of the pitch, you know, it can get a little bit boring if you don't end with any end product. Neither side were prepared to do this. When they get the ball, they were keeping the ball, but they were making progressive passing all of the time, and it's been a very, very good game to watch.
Thank you very much indeed, Graham. So I thought it seemed early on here that Southampton were going to get overrun by Manchester United, but with great character they hung in there, took the lead through Lambert in the 16th minute of the game, a header at the far post. Manchester United, I suppose, inevitably coming back through Robin Van Persie. So it's perfect at half-time. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1.
Graham, it's often very exciting in the early stages of the season when one of the perceived bigger teams plays one of the smaller teams, isn't it? Because the bigger teams haven't quite settled down and there's a lovely, delicious unpredictability about things.
You're absolutely right as well. I mean, and for the Southampton supporters to be back in the Premier League, to have Manchester United coming, you know, you can feel it in this atmosphere, there's no doubt about it. Coming to the ground myself, speaking, as I said, to supporters, they were all up for this game. You know, we're back promoted. But of course, Nigel Adkins would know that it's a different matter of talking about it. It's what you do on the pitch, and I think that Southampton have done very well, bearing in mind for the first 10 minutes they never got a touch of the ball. It's been a very, very good game, and both sides have done well.
Thanks, Graham. I remember Burnley famously beating Manchester United in the first Wednesday night fixture 2 or 3 years ago. That must have been an extraordinary match to witness if you were a Burnley fan. 1-1 at half-time at St Mary's. Half-time at Newcastle. They're playing Aston Villa. Here's Alistair Yeomans.
Yes, and Aston Villa's young guns have done pretty well. They're leading Newcastle by 1-0 at half-time. They started brightly. They had a couple of chances. Bent's, his bouncing shot was saved by Krul. They made the breakthrough after 22 minutes. Newcastle didn't really deal with the corner very well. Barry Bannon got the ball on the left-hand side, got to the byline on the cross. Then Kieran Clark, still up with the attack, the centre-back, had acres of space to head the ball in. Since then, Newcastle have been huffing and puffing. Cissé's snapshot has been saved by Guzan's legs. Anita has fired inches wide, and Barr has shot across goal. But so far, so good for Aston Villa. Remember, no points before this afternoon. At half-time, it's Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1.
Arsenal beat Liverpool 2-0 at Anfield earlier. More details on the way. And in the Championship, just the one game, Cardiff beat Wolves 3-1. The latest from the fourth one-day international at Lords now from Pat Murphy.
143 for 1. Trott on 48, batting with an injured finger. There's an LBW appeal for him. They're looking at it on the TV replay. We'll keep you posted on that one. Bell on 74, Alex Stewart, dropped badly at mid-on off Sutsobi a couple of overs ago.
Yeah, it was a bad drop. Sutsobi should have caught that just above his head. It was a type of catch you'd expect a club cricketer on a Sunday afternoon to grab hold of, but it wasn't the case. We've seen a few drop catches today. South Africa have shelled a couple, England certainly did too, but been really impressed with this partnership. The two Warwickshire lads. Trott struggling with his hand injury, 48 not out, can't really take the attacking options, but Bell has been quite outstanding. And just as we're talking,
I think Trott's out, LBW, Alec.
Yes, it was given not out, but on review that's hit him Midland leg 3/4 of the way up, so you'd expect the on-field umpires to reverse the decision, and Simon Torfell, the Australian, will put his finger up in just a minute.
Bell, by the way, he could get 100 here, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could, and it will do him good. You know, he's got hundreds since he has opener batting. Got 126 twice down at the Ageas Bowl in the last couple of years. But what's very, very important now is that now he's opening the batting, he's got to make sure that he makes that position his very own, whether Kevin Peterson comes back or not.
Right, so Trott is out. He's gone for 48. LBW to Peterson, 143 for one. Bell still there on 74, and 78 needed of 109 balls for England to go 2-1 up in this one-day series.
England coasting at the moment and therefore staying at the top of the world rankings if they win. Commentary continuing on 5 Live Sports Extra. What a finish at New Craven Park in the Super League. Here's Dave Woods.
Well, it might not be much to the rest of Rugby League, but that Hub Cup means an awful lot to Wigan. They've won here by 42 points to 36, which is an astonishing scoreline given that they were 26-0 down with 34 minutes played. 4 tries in the last 12 minutes has turned a seemingly lost cause, a hopeless case, into a winning cause, and it also means that they are confirmed in top spot, of course. An awful lot of tries scored here today, as you can tell by that scoreline, but it means now that with one game to go, Wigan will finish top, 42 points from their 26. Warrington have today beaten Huddersfield 54 points to 6, so they guaranteed second spot. There's a bit of a tussle between Saints, Catalan and Leeds to make the final 2 in that top 4. Catalan have beaten Castleford today 46 points to 26, but all the headlines about Wigan here, because that has been a dramatic turnaround. It's a defeat that means Hull KR now have very little chance of making the top 8. If Wakefield beat Widnes later this evening, they'll have no chance of making the top 8. But what a turnaround by Wigan. Those 4 late tries, Carmont, Farrell, Richardson, Chanley, confirming a victory that in turn confirms top spot in the regular season. Hodkinson Rovers 36, Wigan 42.
This is Russell Fuller in the Velodrome on the Olympic Park with 5 Live Sport. The paracycling has drawn to a close. Some officials just jumping up on top of the podium to have their photographs taken. We'll round up the main stories from the 4th day of competition here in East London in a moment, but at 6 minutes to 5, here's Rebecca Pucciello with the 5 Live News.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester City footballer Courtney Mepham-Walter has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after a collision in North Manchester left 2 people dead. The 18-year-old and another 19-year-old man remain in custody. A British man and his son who drowned on the Spanish island of Mallorca have been named locally. It's thought the father, George Selby, tried to rescue his young son Lewis after he was washed off rocks by a wave yesterday. More than 30 officers are involved in a murder investigation following the death of a 3-year-old girl in Lancashire on Thursday. A post-mortem revealed Leah Green died from internal injuries. A man and a woman in their 20s are being questioned. Vince Cable has dismissed talk of becoming the leader of the Liberal Democrats. The business secretary, who some Lib Dems want to see replace Nick Clegg, brushed off criticisms of the party leader as normal midterm blues. David Cameron is expected to hold his first full cabinet reshuffle this week. And a competitor taking part in the Great Scottish Run in Glasgow has died. After collapsing in the street, he was taken to hospital but died a short time later. More than 20,000 runners took part. And a look to the roads now. To Surrey, the M23 southbound. Traffic just getting back to normal between Junction 8 for the M25 and Junction 9 Gatwick Airport. It's because of that earlier car fire and oil spillage. Bedworth, the A444 in both directions. The road's closed between the M6 Junction 3 Nuneaton, Bedworth, Coventry and the Griff Island. It's to allow for a serious police incident to be dealt with. And finally, a look to London. The traffic affected around East and Central London. That's because of the games. Follow signs and diversions that are in place. Rebecca Pucciello, 5 Live Travel. 5 Live Breakfast.
Leading scientists have issued one of the sternest warnings yet about global food supplies. The world's population may have to switch to an almost completely vegetarian diet to avoid catastrophic shortages. Vegetarians in the room, put your hand up.
No.
None.
Nope.
No. Who eats meat every single day?
Don't eat it every day.
You do.
No, don't.
Do you not?
Sometimes there's a beans on toast.
But you'll have a bacon butty in the morning. I bet you probably do eat
I
meat.
cereal in the morning.
Cereal?
Yeah.
Beans on toast, followed by what would be... That's when no one's cooking for you, isn't it?
5 Live Breakfast.
Weekday mornings from 6.
Across the UK.
This is 5 Live Sport.
Great Britain have taken their Paralympic gold medal tally to 12 today. Anthony Capps winning in the Velodrome within the last hour or so. Earlier today at Eton Dorney, the mixed coxed 4 won gold, and Aled Davis, who won bronze in the shot put in the Olympic Stadium a couple of days ago, has today taken gold in the discus. Silvers, 2 in the equestrian events for Sophie Wells and Debbie Criddle, and in the long jump for Steph Reed. Let's go back to Anfield now. Liverpool lost 2-0 to Arsenal earlier today. Conor McNamara is still there, and Brendan Rodgers has been hinting about a move for a striker familiar to the club.
Well, yes, he was asked specifically, was Brendan Rodgers, about signing a free agent. Now, we know that Michael Owen is available as a free agent. The transfer window restrictions does not apply to him. And so too, maybe, and this could be getting a little bit carried away with things, but so too, perhaps, Didier Drogba, who will be operating as a free agent. Brendan Rodgers said, we are certainly looking at it. There is no doubt that the group is very thin. He says, any player I believe can improve the squad, I will look at. We've only got 19 players in training at the moment. There are some very young players in that group as well. What was interesting, I thought, Russell, is that Brendan Rodgers said he only allowed Andy Carroll to go out on loan because he believed that Liverpool were definitely bringing someone else in. He was quite sort of certain to say that he doesn't feel the owners have misled him. He says there were one or two operational things that need to be improved for the next transfer window. And perhaps most interestingly to West Ham United fans, Brendan Rodgers has confirmed to me today that there is a clause in the loan deal for Andy Carroll that allows Liverpool to bring the England striker back to Anfield in January should they need to.
Didier Drogba, that's intriguing. Is that a little bit of a leap of faith at the moment?
Well, no, I think so. It was put to him by one of the journalists because originally, speaking about free agents, everyone was assuming Owen, and then this was brought out there. What was interesting, the journalist who asked the question said, obviously the wages would be a big thing with Didier Drogba. Would you be able to afford the wages? Brendan Rodgers' answer, and of course, look, he's got to be clever not to put things away. His answer was, I'd have to ask the question. Now, does that mean he'd have to ask the owners where they stump up those wages? But the impression I get, Russell, particularly after the start of the season, which is the worst for Liverpool in the league since 1962-63, if there was anyone who he thinks could strengthen this squad, he will at very least consider them. You would think Michael Owen the more likely at the moment.
Thanks, Connor. Your thoughts very welcome in 6:06 from 6 o'clock with Darren Fletcher tonight on 5 Live. Phone lines opening around about now. You can give Darren a call, 0500 909 693, as Liverpool make that really bad start to the season. But Arsenal remain unbeaten. They're moving up the Premier League table, 5 points from their 3 games. In the SPL, Hearts against Dundee is over at Tynecastle, and watching for us has been Alison Walker.
It finished Hearts 0, Dundee 1, and Hearts miss out on the chance to go top of the SPL. It was a second-minute penalty that was the difference. Ryan Conroy slotting home Dundee's first SPL goal this season after Zaliukas had fouled Colin Nish. Hearts pummeled the Dundee goal in response, wave after wave of pressure, but Dundee's keeper Ab Douglas was in sparkling form and even saved a penalty from John Sutton. Most of the play was conducted in the Dundee half, but Hearts couldn't orchestrate a way through. Dundee defended like their lives depended on it and emerged with their first SPL win, music to their ears. In the other SPL game, it was Motherwell 4, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, a hat-trick from Michael Higdon and the opening goal from Tom Hapley, Richie Foran scoring in response for Cally Thistle, and that means it's Motherwell that go top of the SPL tonight.
And how about this for a scoreline from Scottish League Division 3 after just half an hour? It's Rangers 0, Elgin 1. If it stays like that, do you want tomorrow morning's headlines now? Producer Patrick, clearly wasted. Rangers lose their marbles at Elgin. Now, it's been announced in the last few minutes that Romain Grosjean will serve a one-race ban for his part in today's first corner crash at the Belgian Grand Prix. That ended the race for Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. Jenson Button led from pole to podium and was delighted.
A great day, and turn one was a bit scary because I could see the cars all over the place and in the mirrors. As a kid, this is one of the circuits that you always want to win on. A very special victory. For me, the important tracks to win on, I've won on all of them except for Silverstone, my home circuit. So that's the one that is key really in my career. I'm enjoying my racing. I think the team are doing a great job. I just can't wait for Monza now.
One game in the Aviva Premiership today. London Welsh were beaten at home 38-13 by Leicester. 1-1 between Southampton and Manchester United at St Mary's. Back for commentary in a few minutes' time. 6:06 at 6. There's more swimming and track finals from the Paralympics with Sheila Fogarty from 7. And then this huge day for Laura Robson at the US Open Tennis. The 18-year-old faces defending champion Sam Stosur for a place in the last 8. We've commentary on 5 Live. Nick Bollettieri, the great tennis coach, has been part of the team in New York this week. He was on Sports Week as well this morning, and this was his verdict on whether Robson can be victorious against Stosur.
Laura's got to remember, and it's not easy, what she's done is history. She's got to come out, got to have fun, got to play the game. Don't worry about score. Play each point. Enjoy yourself. Remember, Sam Stosur's got to be doing some thinking now, too. And when you're good is when the other people begin to, wow. That means you're starting to make a breakthrough. Laura has a chance.
Live to New York, and our tennis correspondent Jonathan Overend. Nick Bollettieri is getting optimistic, and we should all be optimistic, shouldn't we, really, Jonathan? Probably before the US Open started you would have looked at this and thought no chance, but just look at what she's achieved in the first week.
I really think every day should start with a bowl of muesli, the morning paper, and a Nick Bollettieri speech. That would really get you up for it, wouldn't it? Yeah, she's got a chance. I mean, she has to have a chance against Stosur. She's just beaten Kim Clijsters and Lee Na, for goodness sake. And actually, out of those trio, at the start of the tournament, you'd probably say she had the best chance of all against Stosur, because even though she is the defending champion and she's a good, aggressive, attacking player, she can be flaky at times. She's lost matches in major championships over the last few years that many people would have expected her to win, and today will be no different. And I think one thing's for sure, Russell, there's no way Sam Stosur will be looking forward to this at all. She will be aware of the threat of Laura Robson. She knows the risk that she's taking by stepping onto the court. She obviously doesn't have any choice, but she will be very, very worried about being another victim in this amazing run.
Commentary from around about 10 o'clock on 5 Live Sport this evening. Who are you watching right now, Jonathan?
Well, right now, terrific match. I've settled into this court, the Louis Armstrong Stadium, where Laura Robson is going to be playing later. And we've got Leighton Hewitt against David Ferrer at the moment, which could go on a very long time. And it's 5-4 to Hewitt in the opening set here. But Ferrer was a break up and has basically had break points in every Hewitt service game. But the Aussie, such a battler, ahead 5-all. In fact, 5-all now as Ferrer just levels up. And Djokovic also in court at the moment, a set and a break up on Julian Benneteau.
So US Open tennis follows Paralympic action from the Olympic Park, which follows 6:06, which follows the second half of Southampton and Manchester United, all square at the break as we return to St Mary's and rejoin Mike Ingham, Graham Taylor and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Russell. 13 seconds precisely into the second half. We're hoping for more of the same. The first half was hugely enjoyable, hugely entertaining. Manchester United started on top. Southampton scored first through Ricky Lambert. Robin van Persie got an equaliser not long after. And both teams, as Graham Taylor, who is watching with us this afternoon, was saying in the first half, very, very prepared to look for that forward pass early on and be positive and make things happen. And it really has made for a thoroughly enjoyable watch, and you can always tell that because 45 minutes absolutely flies by. When you look down at your stopwatch and it suddenly says 44. Just seen a picture of Sir Alex Ferguson on the big screen, a 1,000th league game in charge of Manchester United. We were joking, Graham Taylor, when he came out, he's not one that ever wants any fuss, and he just moved straight to his position in the dugout, and there he was sitting with his arms crossed, and the image I saw of him was with the big old watch on his left wrist, and that's how you always think of him.
I wonder if it's been the same watch over all 1,000 and odd games.
Well, if it is, it's done extremely well, and whoever made that watch can be patted on the back. Southampton won, Manchester United won. Lambert's got the better of Raphael at the back post, couldn't get the volley away. Ball is looping high in the United area. Manchester United felt Raphael was pushed there by Lambert, and they're just complaining about that. Play continues. United are in the white shirts, black shorts and white socks, playing from left to right in this second half as we look at it. And Van Persie is here, and very quickly Højveldt is onto him as Van Persie tried to control, and Van Persie just felt that. He just winced as Højveldt came through. Manchester United have the throw. When we get a break in play, I will go through the full lineups for you. Neither manager has made a change at half-time, and why would they? I think both would be pretty happy with the way certainly their teams were going forward in the first half.
Yeah. Let's hope it continues in the second half, because it has been a very, very good game.
Puncheon comes darting forward for Southampton. Vidic, who's had a really physical battle with Ricky Lambert so far, read the run of Lambert. Lambert was offside, but as are the rules now, the flag doesn't go up until about 10 seconds after the linesman has spotted it, so we just waste a little bit of time there.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because if Lambert hadn't tried to win the ball back off Vidic, the crowd would probably have had a go at him, but he wouldn't have been called offside.
Exactly. Manchester United have Lindegaard in goal, has replaced De Gea this afternoon. His distribution in the first half was poor, I thought. Raphael, Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra back four, Carrick, Cleverley and Kagawa, I guess, a sort of midfield three. Kagawa the most forward thinking of those, coming in behind Robin van Persie. Danny Welbeck wide left and Valencia on the right hand side. Rangers 2, Elgin 1 is the latest in Scotland. David Templeton scoring on his debut for Rangers in the 3rd division, of course. Dundee 1-0 winners at Hearts, Arsenal 2-0 winners at Liverpool, Cardiff beat Wolves by 3-1, and we just heard Conor McNamara in half-time. Kagawa here, edge of the area, hits the left foot shot just wide. That was very, very close to Manchester United getting in front here at the St Mary's Stadium, and he didn't need much space to create that chance for himself.
Not at all. It was a very good run by Van Persie to take defenders away, came across the goal, but he took his shot. We're talking about a couple of inches, that's all. It's very, very close, that.
Yeah, Conor was talking about Drogba to Liverpool.
Well, we're hearing stories that he's fallen out with the club, so it will be very interesting, that.
Yeah, lots of people have said Michael Owen to Liverpool as well. Welcoming listeners to the BBC World Service. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Probably tell by the noise. Southampton on the attack. Puncheon. In-swinging cross from the right-hand side with his left foot. Dealt with by Ferdinand. Southampton, Kelvin Davis in goal. Back four of Klein, Højbjerg, Font and Fox. Their midfield three is Schneiderlin, Davis and the 17-year-old Ward-Prowse, Lallana and Puncheon, providing the ammunition from the flanks for the big bulky figure of Ricky Lambert, who gave Southampton the lead this afternoon. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Southampton pretty much all in red. There's a thin white pinstripe running through their red kit, white numbers on their backs and white stripes on the socks, playing from right to left towards Anders Lindegaard's goal. He's all in green away to our left-hand side. There was a little bit of sort of misty mizzle, light rain blowing across the stadium in the first half. I think that's disappeared. Almost felt like a sort of sea mist was going to blow in. It's sort of grey, misty skies above us. Floodlights shining brightly in this stadium, which has been here now for 11 years, well equipped for Premier League football. But it's been a while since it's seen it. Southampton coming forward again. Stephen Davis spreads play out to the right-hand side. 21-year-old Nathaniel Klein, the right-back, signed from Crystal Palace. Puncheon steps away, hits the shot, and good sliding block from Michael Carrick, who was back there for Manchester United. Good defensive work from the England midfielder. It's a Southampton throw. 5 minutes played in the second half. Graham Taylor.
Well, a much more even start than the start to the first half here. You know, both sides once again looking as if they're committed to wanting to win the game. And the outcome of that, of course, is that you see a good game and you see positive. But that's what I've really liked about this game. And I mentioned it before, is that most of the players out there, when they've got the ball, they've looked for a forward pass, something that will hurt the opposition.
The howls of derision are from the Southampton fans. They felt Stephen Davis had kept the ball in on the right-hand side as he was attacking down the right wing. The assistant referee was about a yard away, so you'd hope he got that one right. But obviously home fans, even though they're a long way away, will know best. We shouldn't be surprised, by the way, about entertaining fare between Southampton and Manchester United, because there have been some games between the two down the years. Mike was talking about the 4-1 win in '69 for Southampton at Old Trafford. They beat Manchester United in the FA Cup final in 1976, of course. There was the grey shirt debacle. When was that? April '96. Southampton won by 3-1, and Sir Alex Ferguson claimed his players couldn't see each other in their grey shirts, so they got changed at half-time into blue and white. And in October 1996, Southampton beat Manchester United 6-3 at the Dell. Roy Keane was sent off. Egil Ostenstadt scored a hat-trick. So there's been some fun, and we're having some more of it this afternoon. It's Radio 5 Live, it's the World Service on the BBC. It's a cracking atmosphere here on the South Coast, and a cracking game of football as well. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Schneiderlin floating the free kick into the United box. Ferdinand and Raphael jump together, haven't got it clear. Davis tries to just spoon across him with the outside of his bright yellow right boot. Now Danny Fox. Now, did that take a deflection off Valencia? No, it didn't, says the referee. Southampton fans disagree. Goal kick Manchester United. That's better distribution from the Danish keeper Lindegaard. In for De Gea. Kagawa, who's been shadowed everywhere by Schneiderlin. He hasn't had a moment's pause, the Japanese international. Managed to get his pass away. Welbeck, a lanky figure of the England striker with the tall black hair. Shaved on either side of his head. One of 3 Manchester United players in the England squad. That's the next big football coming up, of course, at the end of the week. England starting their 2014 World Cup qualifying campaign away to Moldova. Robin van Persie scored Manchester United's equaliser. Took it superbly well. You always knew he was going to, bringing the ball down at the far post and unerringly crashing the left foot volley into the bottom corner. Kagawa makes ground to Evra, low ball in, hacked away by Stephen. Comes back to Carrick, who hits the shot, well blocked there by Ward-Prowse. The ball spins away to Puncheon. Puncheon turns away from Evra, still got a lot to do, surrounded by 3 white shirts. Cleverly he's putting pressure on him, and Southampton keep possession and decide to come back to their goalkeeper Kelvin Davis. They look confident, they've really settled into the game. They've given the ball away poorly here though, and Valencia's in, and Valencia finds Van Persie first time, who side foots it a good 8-9 yards wide, and you don't expect that from the deadly Dutchman. That was less than deadly.
And Kelvin Davis, the Southampton goalkeeper, will be so pleased and so happy, because what a mistake he made when he just put the ball out to his defender on the edge of the, well, just beyond the edge of the box, but instead placed it straight away to Valencia. And that should have really been a second goal for Manchester United, but Kelvin Davis there is so fortunate to get away with that, which is a real error.
Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. 10 minutes again have absolutely flown by at the start of this second half. Let's get the latest from Lords, the 4th one-day international between England and South Africa. England chasing 221 to win. Pat Murphy.
Afraid they're off for a combination of rain and bad light. Bopara's there on 1, Bell on 80. He came off 5 minutes or so ago. 150 for 2 off 34.1 overs. They're well ahead of the scoring rate. If for some reason this game is going to be truncated, 221 the target.
Morgan Schneiderlin heads in for Southampton to put them back in front against Manchester United. It was a cross swung in from the left-hand side. The Manchester United defence stood still. I think it might have been Evra that slipped, and Schneiderlin took it so well. He moved into the empty space and he bulleted the header past Lindegaard. It's Southampton 2, Manchester United 1.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson needs to check as to what boots Evra is wearing. I know he's done that before, he's banned them wearing blades, but it was a slip, but taken so easily by Schneiderlin then. He really made Evra pay fully for that slip, because he headed it in so comfortably and so well and so accurately. But without the slip, I'm not going to say he wouldn't have scored, but I'm not so certain he would have got the header in so comfortably.
Well, I think Manchester United defenders were also looking around at each other, possibly looking for an offside flag. There was no danger of that. Schneiderlin had made time to run beautifully. Well. Southampton 2, Manchester United 1. The home team are back in front. Manchester United's 3rd game of the season. Lost their first one away at Everton. They are behind here. Raphael is immediately charging forward, blocking a clearance, and the ball's gone out for a Southampton goal kick. So, can Southampton hold on this time? In the first half, Graham, it was 6 minutes before Manchester United got back in it. And when the Saints go marching, and I'm sure you can hear that all around us, is reverberating, not just around the St Mary's Stadium, that's reverberating around the city of Southampton.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. The support has been fantastic for them.
Leading Manchester United by 2-1. Welbeck out to Valencia on the right-hand side, cross in towards Van Persie. Ward-Prowse was back there, wins a really important header for Southampton. We were saying in the first half as well, Morgan Schneiderlin, 3 goals in 153 appearances. Better with his head then, we'll say, Graham.
Yes, certainly, definitely. No doubt about that. But I think sometimes you have to think less, don't you? Well, he's come straight in and just
I was just going to say, he did have time, though, to think about that as he approached it, but he placed it beautifully.
Yes, it was. Very good header. What I would say, there was a complaint from Manchester United. It'd be very interesting about a player coming back from an offside position. It'd be very interesting, as we all will see, clips later on.
Southampton are looking for a third, by the way, because Puncheon's in the area. He's beaten Evra, hits the shot, and Lindegaard saves it at the near post. Now, he was in the right position. You'd expect him to save that, but sometimes when those are hit with power, they can deflect off you and into the net. And Southampton at the moment enjoying a really good spell.
Yeah, it's a good save. You're quite right what you say. It was almost at him, but you've seen keepers get beaten by the pure pace of the ball. Either goes through their legs or they only get just a hand on it. But this time it was a really good save.
Really interesting story developing here at the moment. Corner for Southampton, swung in by Danny Fox and claimed cleanly by Anders Lindegaard. Southampton 2, Manchester United 1. 0500 909 693, the usual number for 606 tonight. Darren Fletcher in the hot seat. Just an hour with Darren to get your calls in tonight. Paralympic action from 7 until 10 from the Olympic Stadium on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sports Extra will have the US Open tennis for you. Laura Robson is in action this evening against Sam Stosur. Lallana for Southampton, again inside the United box. Ball is chipped up to Lambert, and Raphael wins the header this time. But Punchin's there to pick up the loose ball, lobs it back into the area. Vidic wins a header for Manchester United. They're under pressure. They're trailing Southampton by 2-1. Alistair Yeomans is watching Newcastle against Aston Villa.
56 minutes gone. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. Newcastle looking a little ragged. Villa, well, they're comfortable and they're neat at the moment. Surely the pressure will build as the afternoon goes on, though. It's Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1.
Rangers have got a third. Rangers 3, Elgin 1. Ward-Prowse, first-time ball. Valencia's lost it here. Danny Fox has it, lays it off to Lallana, hits the shot, couldn't get the power. It's easily saved by Lindegaard. And Sir Alex Ferguson, in his 1,000th league game in charge, turns to another very experienced head here, Graham Taylor. He's going to make a double substitution.
He is. It's Scholes and Nani. I was going to say who exactly will come off, I don't know, but both Cleverley and Carrick have hardly been seen this half. I don't know whether he's going to make it that way, or those two players, but certainly Manchester United need to get back into this game.
Well, Manchester United at the moment are under the cosh. They are trailing by 2-1 here at Southampton. Southampton yet to get a point this season, sitting in the bottom three with Aston Villa, who also lead at Newcastle, as we heard from Alistair Yeomans. Lambert here, little ball into Punchin, looking for the 1-2. The ball breaks back for Punchin inside the United area, and then goes for the spectacular shot from a tight angle and smashes it over the bar and behind for a goal kick to Manchester United.
I think he would have done much better Punchin then if he'd looked up and clipped it to the far post area where there were 2, possibly 3 Southampton players there. Southampton played extremely well.
15 minutes gone in the second half, so the old master replaces the young apprentice, as suggested by Graham Taylor. Cleverly off, Scholes on, and Kagawa comes off, who hasn't had much change out of Schneiderlin. Had one shot in this second half just wide. Nani comes on for him. Graham Taylor.
Yeah, and Welbeck now goes up with Van Persie. Nani going wide left. Looks a little bit better balanced to me, with Nani just in there, used to playing that position.
Into the last half hour of the game. What a start to the Barclays Premier League season it's been on BBC Radio 5 Live. And real drama here, and Scholes into the action straight away, slides it through for Van Persie. Here's the chance, blocked by Davis at his near post, and Stephen Davis gets the ball from the rebound off Kelvin Davis and clears it for Southampton. Well. Another goal at Newcastle, Alistair Yeomans.
An equaliser for Newcastle. Hatim Ben Arfa, a little bit of magic, left-hand side of the penalty area. I'm afraid he wasn't closed down by the young Villa defence. A storming shot. It's Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 1.
Listen to the atmospheres as well, all around the country in all these sporting arenas. It is magnificent. Van Persie now got Manchester United back on level terms in the first half, trying to slide one through for Welbeck. Nani's taken up station on the left-hand side. Valencia wide right as was. Scholes and Carrick in the middle. Welbeck, I guess Van Persie slightly off Welbeck possibly as they're lined up at the moment, Graham.
Yeah, it may be that Van Persie may drop back and coming back. He can play all of those positions, and so, at any one time I think we'll see him in the various positions, either up with Welbeck or dropping back or dropping wide.
17 minutes gone in the second half. Southampton leading Manchester United by 2-1. Lambert gave them the lead in the first half. Van Persie equalised. Here's a ball for Welbeck to chase from Scholes, who within a minute of coming on has played 2 wonderful passes. The second one there was just intercepted. The first one put Van Persie clean through. Morgan Schneiderlin, the Frenchman, gave Southampton the lead in this second half, and Punchin has found a way through here for Lambert. Still got work to do, trying to get it onto his right foot to hit the shot. Lays it back for Punchin, just outside the Manchester United penalty area. Can Southampton get a third? Lambert to Lallana, brilliant block by Evra, read it well and stood up strong in the challenge. but still Southampton come forward. They sense that Manchester United are vulnerable, and they sense they can score again. And now it's the Olays as Schneiderlin and Fox play the 1-2. Schneiderlin's gone down. Referee says play on. Southampton have the ball, so they can put it out if they want. Schneiderlin is lifted to his feet by Valencia. And Southampton continue play, but the ball is all the way back in their own half. They lead Manchester United by 2-1. We're a long way away from it happening, Graham, but if Manchester United lose 2 of their first 3 games of the season, not necessarily talking crisis, as Lallana goes through. This could be the third, takes a touch, and now Vidic forces him wide, but the flag's up for offside.
Well, Southampton have done fantastically well. They have to be given great credit. But we all know, the game isn't over until they're in the dressing rooms afterwards, and we've got to be very careful. And Nigel Adkins will be absolutely certain of that. But I think Southampton have really done well.
They lead 2-1. Valencia finds Van Persie in space. It's a good 35 yards out. That's a poor ball from Van Persie because Nani was completely unmarked, and Van Persie missed his target by about 5 yards, and it was easily cleared by Southampton. Another interesting little stat I read before this game, in the Premier League, and I know football was played before the Premier League arrived in 92-93, but Manchester United have only lost at Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool more times than they've lost at Southampton. That was more at the Dell than it was here, but it's certainly a place that they have struggled at. And they're trailing here by 2-1, and Raphael couldn't pick up Scholes' pass. And look at the space for Punchin on the right-hand side. Lallana didn't see the run. He was in acres of space because Evra was miles up the pitch, out of position down the left-hand side. Schneiderlin now looks to swing play over to that right-hand side. Hits a pinpoint 50-yarder. Punchin controls it. First time back to Ward-Prowse. And Southampton looking complete control at the moment, Graham Taylor.
They do, they've done very well. And, you just mentioned Ward-Prowse. I think he's had a really, really good game. He's really taken my eye.
Ferdinand, that's not the best header away. Vidic saves his defensive partner, reads it well, comes back, wins the bouncing ball. Just saw Roy Hodgson. Picture flash up on the big screen. Ahead of Moldova against England on Friday. Of course, full commentary of that on BBC Radio 5 Live. Wales against Belgium, Russia, Northern Ireland, Kazakhstan, Republic of Ireland. The other international fixtures on Friday. Scotland get into action against Serbia on Saturday. England, Ukraine is the following Tuesday. Carrick, Cleverley, Welbeck, the 3 Manchester United players in that England squad. Here at the moment, though, Manchester United have far more pressing concerns. They trail Southampton by 2-1. Back to Lords in a second to find out the latest from Pat Murphy. Last we heard the players were off the field. England 150 for 2. Chasing 221 to win. Ricky Lambert is onside. He's wide right. He's got support from Ward-Prowse in the middle. Lambert still going, blocked by Ferdinand, who clears the ball away, and Evra will pick it up for Manchester United. So to Lords, Pat Murphy.
They're back out again on a miserable, dank afternoon under the floodlights. Bapara on 6, Bell on 80. 155 for 2 in the 36th over. Another 66 in 14 overs and a bit.
6:06 follows us at 6 o'clock. Get your calls in 0500 909 693 85058. Will we be hearing from Southampton fans after a famous win over Manchester United? They lead by 2-1. And Southampton again have the ball, and it's Ward-Prowse, the 17-year-old, who plays it back to his goalkeeper, who's under pressure, Kelvin Davis, and I think he's given it away poorly, and Nani's going to pick up on it. Van Persie's calling for it. Nani spins, gives it to Van Persie, goes down in the penalty area, and gets the penalty. The slide challenge on Van Persie sees the referee Mike Dean point to the spot. Southampton are furious. Graham Taylor, we're going to need to see it again. It was a strong challenge, it was a fast challenge. The key question is, did he get any part of the ball?
We're just seeing it again. I'm not so certain about the decision. I have to say that he tries to pull it back. He's gone through.
He's gone through.
He's gone through. He can't do it. Can't do it, I'm afraid. The referee's in a first-class position to see it.
Dutchman on Dutchman, that. Hoijveld on Van Persie. I don't think Southampton can have too many complaints. And Robin van Persie, having got United back on level terms in the first half, has a chance, 1 against 1 from the penalty spot against Kelvin Davis. Here he comes, Van Persie, it's the chip, and it's saved by Kelvin Davis. Van Persie went for the cocky floated delayed chip, and he took too long over it. Davis went down, he went the right way, he stuck up a left hand, he's pushed the ball behind, and Manchester United could well pay for that. Vidic hits one from long range, the shot is blocked, it spins behind for a corner. Again, we've gone past the midway point in this second half. You cannot take your eyes off of this at the moment. Southampton lead Manchester United by 2-1, and Van Persie's had a chipped penalty saved. Here's Mike Ingham.
Yeah, a dull game, I think. Fantastic stuff here as Southampton head the ball away. Scholes retrieves for Manchester United. Danger not yet clear. Ball played in deep to the far post. Everybody's missed it. And Punchin will pick it up for Southampton, who lead by 2-1. When it comes off, i.e. Pirlo for Italy, it looks fantastic. When it doesn't, you look a bit foolish, don't you?
Well, I think you look even more than foolish, having had a free kick and tried a similar thing with it in the first half and messed that up. To try to do it then from the penalty spot in the same game, I'm not so certain.
Well, he really just needed to put his boot through it, Van Persie, to make it 2-2. Let's go back to Pat Murphy at Lord's. Pat.
Bapara is out, he's failed again, caught behind for 6 off McLaren. He needs 65 to win England, of 86 balls, with 7 wickets in hand. Bell's there on 80.
Thank you very much indeed. I mean, had that gone in, had that penalty gone in, it would have been a bit fortunate for Manchester United, because they've been overrun in this second half by Southampton. Punchin now finds Klein down the Southampton right. Ball played disappointingly in from the right-hand side, well collected by Rafael. Rafael's clearance doesn't find Valencia. And if you're joining us on 5 Live and World Service, this is not a case of Manchester United being below par here today. This is Southampton at their very best, pushing Manchester United all the way. And I mentioned before the game, I still think United are lacking in midfield, and that's where Southampton have absolutely dominated it with the 3 players they have in midfield. Lambert now to Lallana, who really looks a Premier League player, being watched today by the England manager Roy Hodgson. Always question marks when, remember, this team were in administration 2 years ago, playing in League One. You wonder about whether players will be up to it. Well, Lallana certainly looks a Premier League player, so too does Lambert. Hernandez is about to come on as Scholes now looks for Van Persie. Van Persie inside the penalty area, from the angle, trying to tee up a shot, and then he just wastes the ball into the crowd, into the Manchester United fans actually. So Hernandez will come on for Welbeck, and we have 20 minutes to go. Remember, Newcastle and Villa, it was 1-1 the last time we were there. Here's Alistair Jones.
Yes, 1-1 still with 22 minutes to go. The equaliser, brilliant shot from Hatim Ben Arfa, but he wasn't closed down by Brett Holman for Aston Villa. The pressure is being cranked up on Villa. It's 1-1.
Thank you very much. So all 3 changes made by Manchester United. No changes yet made by Southampton. I'm quite hoping they bring Gooley on, actually, because I want to see Punch and Gooley playing together up front for Southampton. But anyway, that's for the future. He's sitting on the bench, hoping he can get on, and the ball is played back to Davis. There is some movement, and it's not going to be Gooley del Prado. Instead, we'll tell you about who's coming on in a moment as Scholes heads the ball back towards his own goalkeeper. It's going to be one of the new signings coming on for them, Emmanuel Manyuka, the Zambian, who was a star of the African Cup of Nations, 21 years of age, signed from Switzerland. He's coming on in just a few moments, and what a scenario to come into, leading Manchester United 2-1. Southampton, ball played beautifully by Scholes now for Nani over on the far side. Klein gets his tackle in and forces the ball back down the line, and they could make the change now, but they haven't. So Manchester United following the throw-in, trailing 2-1 here at St Mary's. Ferdinand just inside they're backing off dangerously here, Southampton. Ferdinand's run a long way with the ball. Scholes takes over. Van Persie's missed a penalty here, which would have made it 2-2. Lovely chip from Scholes, finds Valencia. Valencia taking on the defender, and the defender did well. Got a block in, but United come again. Ball swished across the field from Ferdinand to Carrick. Carrick, who began the game alongside Cleverley. Van Persie on the edge of the area, not much space. Ball played in from Paul Scholes, and out comes the goalkeeper. Davis thought about the early throw as Manyuka is prepared now to come into this game. Graham Taylor.
Well, We've mentioned it a few times. I repeat it again. This has been a first-class game. Credit for the Premier League, but Southampton in particular, bearing in mind they haven't had a win yet, but they've played exceptionally well, and they really are testing Manchester United to the full.
You listen to 5 Live and BBC World Service, and there's quite a story developing after what's been quite a weekend, with Chelsea being beaten, of course, by Atletico Madrid, Liverpool losing today to Arsenal. Now Valencia looking to try and find Rafael. Southampton are slow to clear here. It's now Michael Carrick for Manchester United, plays it into the far post, and it runs away from Nani, and now they can make the change. And Punchin's coming off, and a new player being introduced to the home fans, one of the summer signings, Emmanuel Manyuka. First of all, though, I think it's as much applause for Punchin as well. But of course, it was his ball in the first half which was headed in by Lambert. Both of the goals for Southampton have been far post headers, and the second coming after a slip from Evra, headed in by Schneiderlin, who's been absolutely outstanding in both halves. So Punchin off and Manyuka on, and let's just see where he's going to play. He's going to play in Punchin's position, is he, over on the right hand side? We have no, he's not. He's going to go down the centre, and Lambert, is Lambert being replaced as well? Yes, he is. So Gooley's now coming on, but they're not together. Lambert replaced by Gooley de Prado, and fresh legs, Graham, for Southampton.
Yeah, and these are the times to make the substitutions. I think Nigel Adkins probably also senses that Manchester United, as much as Southampton have done, they are well renowned for coming at the end of the game, getting the equaliser, getting the winners. So he's made his substitutions now, 2 pairs of fresh legs.
And interestingly, that he's made the changes up front as well. So he's taken off Lambert and he's taken off Punchin, who've run themselves into the ground. He's kept the midfield intact, though. Long ball headed away by Hooiveld, the man who was adjudged to have fouled Van Persie. That was a bit of a stretch there from Font at the back, but he finds his right back Klein, and Klein drives the ball back into the Manchester United half. So fresh running up front to trouble Vidic and Ferdinand. Nigel Adkins will hope, as we move into the last 15 minutes, with Newcastle drawing 1-1 with Aston Villa. Clark gave Villa the lead. Newcastle coming back through Ben Arfa. So a Frenchman scoring there for Newcastle. Frenchman Schneiderlin headed Southampton into a 2-1 lead here in the second half, and this would do wonders for Southampton as we go into the international break for 2 weeks, if they could have such a prestigious victory here today. But still a long way to go. Ferdinand ambles forward and then picks out Van Persie. Van Persie looking for the run from Hernandez. Hernandez controls the ball on the edge of the area. So many red shirts around him. He slips it wide to Valencia. Valencia's ball in, well defended at the back by Font, and now possibly a break on for Southampton. No, Valencia gets there first, and Evra now, as the action develops down the left-hand side, feeds Nani. Square ball to Carrick. There's not a lot of space here for Manchester United. Back now with Evra down the left-hand side. Evra's ball in, headed out by the Southampton central defenders. Still Manchester United have the ball with Scholes 25 yards out, but Davis hasn't had to make too many saves apart from that penalty in the game. Carrick now for Scholes. Lots of white shirts forward. Scholes won't get that, but the ball comes back at the Southampton defenders a little fortuitously for Manchester United, and here they come. Lovely take from Scholes. Scholes once more, great defending from Font. Southampton can't really break. They've only got one man downfield. They'll need to keep it in midfield, and then they give it away. Tired ball by Davis. Back come Manchester United once more. 2-1 down here at St Mary's. Rafael now, ball into the area, and that's easy clearance for Hooiveld. Southampton are being pushed back all the way here, though they can't get out of their own half, and there were 1 or 2 tired clearances coming in as well. Poor Scholes for Manchester United. For Carrick, lovely ball from Carrick to Van Persie, edge of the area, shot charged down once more by Southampton, and then Southampton will need to keep the ball better than that. Davis has just hoisted it into the centre circle. Southampton can't keep it, but now they have a chance here. Lallana for Schneiderlin, and now Davis just held up by Rafael, and the ball is back in Southampton's half once more. We're going to have another change in just a few moments. So Rodriguez, the third and final change for Southampton. Another forward player about to come on. So he'll come on for, is it Lallana who's coming off? So that means really effectively the players who've been playing at the front for Southampton are now all being removed. Lallana doesn't realise he's being replaced. Oh no, he does. He hands the captain's armband to Steve Davis. And so Lallana makes way for Rodriguez, who was a big signing from Burnley during the summer.
Well, Nigel Adkins has now used all his 3 substitutions. It does alter the game a little bit when you make it, when you come on, but one has to say that Manchester United are pushing on at Southampton all of the time now. So Southampton have to be very, very careful and concentrate all of the time.
Scholes skims a peach of a ball to Valencia, but there's just an offside. And so a free kick to Southampton. Nigel Adkins was talking about the need at this level to be a little more clever. That was the word he used. And they just, with still 12 minutes to go, need to protect the ball a little better as well if they're going to get over the finishing line here. Sir Alex Ferguson's very first league game was a defeat at Oxford. He's trailing here to Southampton by 2-1. And what a performance it's been so far by the home side. And now they have the ball just in front of us, near side. Rodriguez gets his first touch, but that's a lazy touch really, a rusty touch. And Van Persie back inside his own half finds Everett, and with some determination now, Manchester United try and get moving down the left-hand side. Running out of time though they are. Scholes to Carrick inside the centre circle. They're playing here from left to right in the second half. Ferdinand, very slow, and now Ferdinand just inside the Southampton half. Good ball. Van Persie's coming deep quite a lot with Hernandez ahead of him. Now the ball is stroked to the left-hand side, taken on the knee by Nani. Nani faced by Klein. Players waiting in the area. It comes in and then it sliced away by Davis. That could have gone anywhere. It's gone behind for a corner. Graham.
Yeah, Manchester United in charge of this game, pushing on, playing it, looking to get this equaliser. Southampton resisting as well as they can. I would like them to be a little bit more positive in terms of who they push forward, because that brought them a great deal of profit when they were doing that earlier.
Corner kick to Manchester United, trailing 2-1. This is what they've been dreaming of in Southampton in recent years. Poor corner, but it might drop to Raphael on the edge of the area. And now with all the Manchester United players, free kick is given. And Mike Dean, the referee, gives Southampton a free kick. Was it Raphael? I need to see that again. Yes, it was. It was Raphael who just checked Southampton's progress. No yellow card though, and a free kick to Southampton. How many times have we seen this? Where exactly would you like me to take this kick? Oh, it's not the kick, it's the ball that's the problem. But all this, of course, will help Southampton's cause, particularly as the momentum of the game is broken up a little bit. Manchester United very much a rhythm side, and they're having to wait for a new ball, and we have 9 minutes to go. Mike Dean is happy with it, restarts his watch. Sir Alex no doubt will be doing the same.
Yeah. I just think, Mike, there's a danger for Southampton here where they try to defend or protect their lead, and they try to protect it from a defensive point of view. I think they'd be better off trying to protect it by continuing to play as they did before.
Well, the midfield has been magnificent for most of this game, Southampton. Scholes has slotted into the game really well, and now Van Persie moves the ball to the left-hand side. Scholes has been more effective since he's been on the pitch than Cleverley was. Scholes now to Carrick. Good partnership together. Carrick a bit more height this time to Van Persie. Header on from Van Persie, looking for Hernandez, but the whistle's gone. That's a free kick to Southampton, who are closing in on a great famous win here. Back to Newcastle and Alistair Yeomans.
10 minutes to go, Mike. It's still Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 1. Stephen Ireland for Aston Villa has just spurned a magnificent chance. They brought on Charles Nzogbia, being booed every time he touches the ball by the Newcastle fans. 1-1.
Thank you very much. Rangers have increased their lead to 4-1 now against Elgin. I'll run you through all the final scores in a moment. But here now Southampton, for the very first time almost, Manuka is on the ball. Raphael's just pulled up with a little bit of an injury. He can't be replaced. And Southampton very sportingly put the ball out of play so Raphael can receive attention. Earlier today, I don't know why Valencia's thrown the ball back in again. There's been no treatment or anything to Raphael, so the game, obviously Manchester United want to get it going again. Liverpool 0, Arsenal 2. Podolski and Cazorla scoring for Arsenal there at Liverpool. Some rumours, some talk apparently after the game about the possibility of Didier Drogba going to Liverpool. Hernandez now gives chase. Højbjerg is there and does well, gives it back to his goalkeeper. As you've heard, it's Newcastle 1, Villa 1. It was Cardiff 3, Wolves 1 result. Preston 4, Swindon 1. Hearts 0, Dundee 1. Motherwell 4, Inverness 1. Falkirk 1, Livingston 2. Latest score, Rangers 4, Elgin 1. So Raphael's still got a problem, and Sir Alex Ferguson's out there staring at the moment, I think, just eyeballing the players. This will not do for him. 1,000 league games today. A 2-1 reversal at the moment here against newly promoted Southampton. Valencia now into central midfield. Van Persie and Hernandez wait. Valencia lays it to Raphael, and that was a better touch from him. Carrick lifts the ball in towards Van Persie. Van Persie headed the ball down, but only to a... Now that's the problem for Southampton. They have it at the back, and they just smash it out of play straight away.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done that. You know, it looks like the tension is coming to them, and yes, you have to defend. You have to defend properly. But previously they were doing very well by being very positive and prepared to go at Manchester United. They're sitting back, and I think they have to be very careful here.
Last Premier League football for 2 weeks. World Cup qualifiers coming up. Southampton's next game is at Arsenal. If they can beat Manchester United, they will really be in good heart for that. Manchester United getting all of the possession at the moment. Virtually all of the game is being played inside the Southampton half. But it's Southampton leading 2-1. Hernandez looking for Scholes. And now Gulli de Prado gives it back to his fullback Klein, and that's a high one, hoisted. Huge gap between the Southampton midfield and the forwards. And Manchester United immediately back in possession, and Scholes inside the centre circle. We've just been given the attendance of 31,609 as Scholes now sends a lovely ball potentially to the far side, doesn't reach Nani, and Evra goes in to win the throw-in off Gulli de Prado. Throw to Manchester United with just under 5 minutes to go. Southampton 2, Manchester United 1. The ball with Michael Carrick of Manchester United for Paul Scholes. Scholes square ball to Raphael. Raphael with his right foot aimed towards Hernandez with a header across goal and wide.
Well, that was the effort at goal as well, but Southampton now 9 outfield players, all back, all in behind the ball, and then, you know, only the one player to clear it to, and invariably it's cleared long and high. And it's playing into Manchester United's hands, that, because United very easily get the ball back.
Sir Alex Ferguson not happy with potential time wasting here, pointing at his watch, and eventually the kick is taken by the Southampton keeper Davis. 2-1 to Southampton. The goals for Southampton coming from Lambert in the first half, and then in the second half Sneijderlin. Now a lovely take from Hernandez. Hernandez going into the area, and the defender was there, Klein I think it was, with a challenge at the expense of a corner kick which Manchester United want to take quickly, with Southampton defenders out of position. Now they have to wait, and Vidic says wait for me. The captain goes into the penalty area away to our right. 2-1 to Southampton. Ferdinand makes a late entry. Big deep corner headed out by de Prado. It'll be collected once more by the white shirts of Manchester United. Valencia onto Raphael. Raphael's ball in, headed down by Ferdinand, hit the post and turned in for Manchester United in the end by Van Persie. Well, it's there at last for Manchester United. Robin Van Persie with the bits and pieces after Ferdinand had hit the post, and Southampton have been pegged back to 2-2.
You can see it coming, Mike. I mean, we've been talking about it. I feel a sense of disappointment myself, but I think Southampton brought it on themselves. The substitutions really basically produced a side then that looked to defend their lead. And they defended it by sitting in behind the ball, and they paid the full penalty.
And it was pointed out to me as well by Andy Gillis here that they ran straight back to the centre circle and put the ball down themselves, Manchester United, because they're not even happy to be 2-2. Well, we've been, I think, paving the way, really, in the commentary. Graham was saying that it was going to be a difficult game for Southampton to play against a relentless Manchester United, and it's 2-2 now. But still enough time for either of these two sides. And now Southampton have a free kick, which Fox, the left back, will take for them. In comes the kick towards Højbjerg over on the far side. So Rio Ferdinand went forward late there to get his header to the ball. It hit the post. Van Persie swept it in for his second. And now a shot is deflected off Dominguez for a Southampton corner kick. And of course Van Persie could easily have had a hat-trick here today, having missed a penalty. Corner kick to Southampton. What a relief for them, at least, to be in the other half of the field. Great support still from the home fans as Ward Prowse, the teenager, prepares to take this corner kick for Southampton. So now Lindegaard and United have to be careful. And it goes well dealt with by Manchester United, headed sideways to the far side of the field, and it's going to be another corner to the home team. So Manchester United have clawed their way back twice in this game for 2-2, but now Fox again to take a left-footed corner over on the Southampton right. Southampton 2, Manchester United 2 on 5 Live and World Service. The two Southampton centre-backs go forward. In it goes towards Højbjerg. Ferdinand got his head to it. It might drop toward Prowse. Evra was in the way. Played in again. Out comes Lindegaard with a fist. Still the danger not clear. Font got his header towards goal. Manchester United clear, but Fox can knock it back in again for Southampton. Fox with a drive. Too high, too wide. Goal kick.
Well, all the action there by Southampton in the Manchester United penalty box, really putting the pressure on them. And you know, it's a great reaction to Manchester United's equaliser, but I repeat once again, I think Southampton just lost their way a little bit there. They should have tried to defend that lead by continuing attacking Manchester United. They chose not to do and paid the penalty.
Well, Southampton led 2-1 against Manchester City in their first game, but now Hernandez, 4 minutes of added time, Hernandez crushes a shot wide. 4 minutes of added time here, and remember that Southampton were leading 2-1 but unable to close the game out against Manchester City. Well, here they were leading 2-1 and Manchester United have come back with Van Persie's second goal. A lot of pointing and gesticulating going on down there from the sidelines to players. Nigel Atkins speaking to Mark Halsey, who's the fourth official. So Ferdinand climbs to win the header. You have to say Southampton have been less effective since those front three players came off. Lambert and Lallana and Puncheon. Scholes now drives the ball into the heart of the Southampton defence. Nani's there. United still feel, I'm sure they can win it, as Van Persie played an early ball in which scrapes off Font for a corner. Hernandez applauds, and Manchester United eagerly now going across to take this corner. We still have 3 minutes of added time here at St Mary's. Once more Ferdinand's gone into the penalty area with Vidic, and Carrick's at the near post. He's tall as well. In goes the corner kick. Headed in! Brilliantly by Robin Van Persie! Van Persie has scored a hat-trick. Flashing header. He may have missed a penalty, but it looks like he's wrapped up the 3 points. Van Persie with a screamer of a header following that corner kick. Southampton can't believe it. They were leading 2-1. Now they're trailing 3-2.
Well, what a fantastic header. Yes, Southampton are looking at themselves, they'll be looking at the defender. How did Van Persie come off you? But he does that. He has a great ability. But the power he got on the header as well was first class. Manchester United 3, Southampton 2. It's hard to believe, but we've seen this happen so often.
Set pieces for Manchester United in the end proved to be crucial. That was Nani's corner. Sir Alex celebrates 1,000 league games. One of his big signings, Robin Van Persie, on the day that Arsenal won 2-0 at Liverpool, has scored a hat-trick. He started 2 games for Manchester United. Of course, he scored a brilliant goal last weekend against Fulham. He scored 3 today. That's why they brought him here. And, you know, you have to say, a penny for Wayne Rooney's thoughts too, as he watches on now, watching Van Persie take charge of the Manchester United attack. Van Persie now, and now United don't have to chase the game, but Van Persie finds Valencia, and Valencia's going into the penalty area. Can he cut this back for Hernandez? Davis at full stretch makes the save, and Manchester United look like they've won it here. Late on, Southampton have very little left, I don't think. as they're looking a bit laboured now in midfield, and they've just been caught right at the end here. Manchester United, who never know they're beaten, will always keep going, of course, and Southampton look like they are going to end this match still with no points in the Premier League. Aston Villa are heading for a point at Newcastle, so Southampton will be the only team still looking to register a point on their return. It looks so good for them here for such a long time. In the lead 1-0, that became 1-1, and 2-1 in the lead with Schneiderlin's header. Van Persie missed a penalty, but he has had the last word here. Nigel Atkins points. We have about 30 seconds of added time to go. What a game it's been, and what a day for Van Persie. We heard earlier in the commentary from Alistair that he was sent off on his only previous occasion here. Well, not today. He's got the headlines, and at the moment he's got the ball, and he sends it forward towards Hernandez. Tired Southampton defence now. Hernandez just waits and allows the clock to run down here. 5 seconds of added time. Mike Dean looks at his watch for the first time. And Raphael now. Quick final word from Graham Taylor. Graham.
Well, give it Manchester United for coming back. I have to say, I think Southampton was superb, but without being ultra critical of the substitutions, I think they affected the game negatively for Southampton.
And at the same time, they affected the game, I think, positively for Manchester United in terms of Paul Scholes coming on and anchoring the midfield. Really got it together with Michael Carrick, and he's the first man to go across to Robin Van Persie and offer his congratulations. Robin Van Persie's got the match ball. Manchester United have the 3 points. Sir Alex Ferguson's 1000th league game looked like it was going to be a bad one for him today, but in the end they got it right. Southampton went in front through Ricky Lambert. They led 1-0. Then the first of Van Persie's goals, 1-1 at half-time. Into the second half, Southampton bright and breezy. A slip by Evra. Schneiderlin's header, 2-1. Van Persie missed a penalty, but then 2 stunning strikes from the Dutchman makes the final score here at St Mary's. Southampton 2, Manchester United 3.
Graham, that was absolutely fabulous entertainment, and he's looking a pretty good buy right now, isn't he, Robin Van Persie?
He certainly is. I mean, we know what his capabilities are. We saw them at Arsenal. He's delivered today. Could have been 4 goals with the penalty miss. Might have even been 5 if he'd taken the free kick, as we all expected him to do. He's not going to change. It doesn't matter which club he's playing for. And he is... well, he's already shown the Manchester supporters what a quality buy this was by Alex Ferguson.